And welcome to Uprising. President Obama addressed Congress and the nation yesterday in his State of the Union address. While joining me on the phone this morning to help analyze the President's State of the Union address is Amy Dean. She's a writer whose latest book is A New Deal, How Regional Activism Will Reshape the American Labor Movement. Amy Dean, what do you make of this new energy policy? Is this something new? Is it bold? Is it something that progressives should be heartened by?
I think this president can rightly be acknowledged as the green president, and I think this is the first time we've had a president in this country be so bold about calling for a green economy, and not just an economy for some, but a green economy that creates jobs. I think two pieces that he referred to are important, and then let me quickly identify what he didn't say. Clearly, government has a role by incenting through tax policy industries to expand or create more jobs in these sectors. That he also called for an end of subsidies to the oil industry so that we can divert that kind of tax revenue to new industry or to jumpstart industry that doesn't exist yet. All things to the good. What the president didn't say, and what I hope to hear more from as we move forward, is where do the real resources come from to expand these sectors so that we are not just dependent on the current employers that are in the field or sector of creating alternative energy, but where is the infrastructure resources? Where is the National Infrastructure Bank to actually fund and seed a new and innovative industry?
He also didn't say anything about climate change and the fact that there's more and more evidence showing that things are worsening greatly.
I think to his credit, he did set a goal with actual incentives for putting 1 million cars, electric cars, on the road. I think the issue is that the presidency can only do so much. With respect to climate control, we are only one country in a much bigger equation. I think
but we're also the most polluting country, and have among the highest per capita greenhouse gas emissions in the world.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to in any way take us off the hook, and it's a good point. I think that while there's more to be done, I feel that he put much on the table last night with respect to setting goals, creating resources to achieve them. And I think that when it comes to industries that pollute the most, I think we need a much more aggressive enforcement and a much greater penalty to create an incentive to follow the rules.
It sounded like a classic case of code switching. First, he talked about undocumented workers and the children of undocumented workers and how they, live with the threat of deportation. And then all of a sudden, he wanted to strongly take on the issue of quote-unquote illegal immigration to work with Republicans and Democrats. The first half trying to, I think, pander to progressives, and the second part trying to pander to conservatives. Is that what came across to you as well? And do you think that kind of tactic is promising or successful? Amy Dean first.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I think the overall template from yesterday's State of the Union speech was to, on the one hand, preempt Republicans on issues that they are leading the charge on. He was very clear about preempting them around earmarks and around the deficit and around tax cuts, and he did a brilliant job at preempting and taking away from them their issues. And as regards immigration, that's clearly what he did. When he spoke about the question of competitiveness and referred to, on the one hand, illegal immigrants versus undocumented workers. The second thing that was formulaic about his speech, and again, you'll see it in the immigration clip that you just played, is that he, in addition to preempting Republicans, he also threw just enough to the base. So he intimated that while he didn't call for a DREAM Act coming up, he intimated that immigration should come back up on this Congress. The bottom line, and that's, I think, overall what we can say about just about everything he said last night. It was a two-pronged strategy: preempt the Republican Party, entice, excite the base. Last thing I want to say is this: presidents set the tone. Presidents put forward a vision. But presidents, in and of themselves, cannot push change in any nation. And history demonstrates in this nation, as well as in nations across the world, that absent social movements and people being mobilized to push and expand for real public policy reforms, that a president can set the pace, he can create a vision, He can create a tone for national discussion, but we can't, put on the president the objective that he will deliver in and of himself a fair economy, a greener economy, and a more just economy.
Amy Dean, President Obama is talking about and praising a free trade deal, even as NAFTA, the preeminent free trade deal the U.S. has entered into with Mexico and Canada, has shown failures. And he's also calling for a spending freeze, which seems to be exactly what the Republicans were hoping for. What do you make of this and how it will figure into any kind of prospect for improving our economy?
I'm not sure what part of the labor movement supported the South Korea trade agreement to which he referred last
Right.
week. It's not the part of the labor movement that I'm a part of or anyone that I know of. The issue of trade, the Democrats have been much more of the enemy on this issue than have the Republicans. We expanded and integrated ourselves into the world economy unprecedentedly under the Clinton administration, more so than any Republican administration, and changed the entire rules of world trade under Bill Clinton. And when Bill Clinton campaigned in 1990 to be the president that would only move forward on global trade so long as we had similar rules and rights for people in the environment as we did for compact discs and software protection, and abandoned us 18 months into his administration with the entire Democratic Party. Unfortunately, the debate around trade in this country has been sort of hijacked by should we or should we not trade. I think at this point, no Democrat, no one in the labor movement would disagree that America must integrate itself into the world economy. The question is how best to trade. And we've yet to have a president, or for that matter, Democratic leadership, stand up and say, we have to assert that there are certain values that we hold near and dear to our hearts as a country, and that they ought to be a condition of trade with any country around the world. That's not to say that we're calling for some international wage that would hurt the southern hemisphere, but that is to say that if we believe collective bargaining is an important value here in America, we should extend that right to any nation we trade with around the world. And if we're not prepared to do that, and we're not prepared to engage in that kind of trade, then we really are only creating trade agreements that benefit capital, continue to allow capital to roam the globe freely, but not to do anything to create an upward harmonization of wage standards for workers around the world.